Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Coffee with Craig show. We'll be talking about commercial real estate in Central and Eastern Europe. So good Tuesday morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of the Coffee with Craig show. We're here at the Panattoni Cafe, filming with Winston Norman, our editor-in-chief. And Winston, good to see you.
All right, Craig. How are you?
I didn't see you yesterday because of being ill, so ready for action today?
You were ill, yeah?
I was fine. I was here filming, but some other stuff. But tell us what the headlines are for the week, for the day.
Yeah, we've got Mitiska REIM. They've added or their value add fund has reached 168 million euros. Panattoni is to build 2 sites in Hungary. Wings Resi project has got a BREEAM very good certificate, and Redport Capital is to start a new Resi development in Bucharest. And the railway station part of Jardin has opened.
Okay, so a lot going on. Well, we did last week, as you all know, we were in EXPO Real. We distributed about 5,000 of the investment guides. So good, and a lot of contacts. A lot of seems like a lot is happening on lower levels. A lot of little projects, but seemed like a lot of deals were getting signed. Wing just signed a deal with these two new hotels with the IHG group. So we covered something on that, and a lot going on in Expo. So it was good to see everybody. We have a lot this week and next week, or actually next 2 weeks. We've got next week is our CRE Awards in Budapest. So that's on the 19th at the InterContinental Hotel. So if you haven't signed up yet, we got a lot of good sponsors, a lot of good jury members, great jury members this way, some local regional guys as well coming. A lot from Hungary, of course, because that's what we're doing, but a bit from Czech Republic, Slovakia, a bit from Serbia as well, of course. So a lot happening there. So if you haven't got your tickets or table, if you'd like to sponsor one of the awards, still a chance there. Also, the investment awards on the 26th, the week after, coming up. I think we have the short list out for both events. So good to see that they're going so well. A lot of big sponsors. We're actually doing the champagne tasting today because Panattoni is our champagne sponsor. So we'll be testing the champagnes to see which ones, and at Milzinski to see which ones we decide to go with. But a lot of fun. So a little bit of that. Stay tuned for some photos and maybe a little bit of video and information about which champagnes we'll be serving at the investment awards. Always something interesting. So a lot happening, like I said, this month, big investment month, Expo, and then the CRE Awards in Hungary, and straight to investment awards back here in Warsaw. So let's take a little break, and we'll come back with Winston Norman, our editor-in-chief, with the news. So welcome back, and like I said, a lot going on this week. Winston, sound like we had some interesting headlines and some interesting things to talk about as well there.
Yeah, so we'll begin with the investment market, and in the retail side, and Mitiska REIM has announced that fundraising for its third flagship fund has now reached 168 million euros, and they're focusing on accelerating opportunities in convenience real estate across Europe. So they're targeting food-anchored retail parks, last-mile urban logistics, and it says here multi-light industrial and self-storage opportunities.
Right.
And according to Axel Despriet, he's the managing partner at Mitiska. The evidence from many past economic cycles has shown that volatility and times of high market stress can create opportunities for investors with the requisite market knowledge. So I guess that goes back to a little bit what you were saying out of Expo and these kind of smaller deals and extra projects, not traditional.
And I ran into quite a few people looking for retail parks, either buying them, building them, selling them, just kind of what's going on in the market. And interesting what you said about this self-storage, because of course we know Guy Pinsent here with less
Right.
mess, but you know, you didn't really see too much out of their competitors in the market in, you know, UK or rest of the world. You see a lot of them. So interesting they're looking at it as well as something. But of course, on the food anchor retails, that seems to be you know, the kind of the flavor of the month on the retail. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And obviously this last mile kind of exploded, you know, during the COVID pandemic, and bringing the produce closer to the end user. So these obviously these sites are very attractive now.
Yeah, yeah. And one of the investors said, "Yeah, the market's not growing as much as it used to during COVID, but you know, it's still growing double digit, which seems to be pretty good." Yeah.
Yeah, and I should imagine there's a lot of demand in this part of the world.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Staying in the kind of logistics sector, and Panattoni Hungary, they've secured a dual built-to-suit contract for 30,000 square meters from a top-tier German automotive supplier, they say, and they're going to develop 2 manufacturing facilities in Debrecen and, excuse my pronunciation, Kesmet, respectively. And the Debrecen project will be 13,700 square meters, and the anticipated handover is next October. And the Kesmet facility is going to be 16,600 square meters, and they'll be having they've had their groundbreaking kind of now, and they'll have a similar timeline for delivery, so next October.
No, interesting. Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was first talking to them and they were first setting up the office not that long ago. They were working on lining up the first project.
Well, they've delivered that.
Yeah, yeah. Now
Yeah.
it's 2 at a time here in press releases. So,
Yeah,
and I guess a great opportunity for investors because down in Hungary, most of the developers are just holding them, developing them, holding them. So,
Yeah.
good opportunity. Knowing, I mean, what Panattoni generally does is build them and sell them. Yeah,
That's right.
So another good opportunity for investors to come down there, and they're sponsoring our, you know, our awards in Hungary as well.
Yeah, well,
So,
they've got this one that their first project they developed there, and that
yeah,
one,
yeah.
they delivered that one this year, and that's actually in our awards.
So that's up for an award now.
That's up
Yeah,
for an award,
good,
yeah.
good.
So maybe they'll get some good news.
Yeah, maybe so.
Staying in Hungary, and Wings Resi project, Le Jardin, has secured a BREEAM, a very good certification. And this is the, apparently, according to the developer, this is the first such project in Hungary to get this type of certification. And Le Jardin offers 164 flats, and it's in the 13th district of the Hungarian capital. And the handover is scheduled for the second quarter of next year. And according to Janos Martin, Deputy CEO of Wing, the flats are constructed by using the latest technology to comply with all modern environmental requirements. So yeah, it must be a lot of work on the residential side to get them, you know, sustainable and environmentally friendly.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, and plus Wing is doing a lot in Germany now. I think they're all of a sudden the biggest residential developer in Germany.
Right.
Here, pretty big with Echo. I mean,
Right. So they made a big splash at Munich then.
Yeah, yeah. And then also at Expo they were giving away, or they were announcing these 2 hotels that they had just signed up for, or just bought into it, or building now building
In
IHG.
Hungary, or
In Hungary, both
Yeah.
in Hungary, yeah, and both in I think both in Budapest, but
right,
you know,
right.
pretty good place for hotels, I would imagine.
So it seems to be something of a trend for them, like developing offices with hotels. 'Cause
Yeah,
they've done that previously as well.
yeah, exactly. So so they got 2 hotels they announced at Expo and signed the deals there, and yeah, so pretty busy. Yeah, and I think Noah's also on our jury for CRE awards.
Yes,
So.
and he's up for Professional of the Year as well, I think.
So good opportunity. Yeah, yeah. Good
Sounds like
chance.
he's had a good year. He's got a good chance.
Another good year.
And moving on into Romania, and Red Port Capital started the construction of the first phase of the Level Apartments complex in northern Bucharest. The company says it's already pre-sold 40% of this development, and it's a 12 million euro investment. And according to Cosmin Savu Cristescu, managing director of Red Port Capital, he says the 4th phase of the Level Apartments project is expected to be launched by the end of next year and will include around 275 apartments with an investment of 28 million euros. So a lot of news on the residential front these days, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and it's amazing how fast they're selling. I mean, already 40% sold. So big need in Central Eastern Europe, Southeastern Europe for residential, new residential.
In Romania as well. And coming back to Poland, and the modern railway station, which is part of the Dakoda Konin shopping centre complex, has opened. And so they've got travellers going there already. And it's a cooperation between Polish State Railways, Dakoda Development Group, and X City Investment. a company which belongs to the PKP Group.
Mm-hmm.
And according to Krzysztof Golubieski, managing partner of the board of PKP, PKP is currently implementing the largest program in its history of changing the face of railway stations. Yeah, and I've seen this quite a lot as I travel around Poland. They're quite nice little developments they're building now, and offering a nice bit of retail, some nice bit of F&B, and it's all modernised and looking pretty appealing, to be honest.
Yeah, you get off at some of these train stations. It's either going to be from the 1940s or brand new. Yeah, so so very
yeah.
good.
I mean, they used to be very grim.
Yeah,
so, they
so
definitely needed updating. And
good to see they've got good management there at PKP now, expanding the real estate and just I think working on the real estate they have to make it better.
They've got a lot of real estate and a big land bank. And,
making travelers' lives a little nicer.
I hope so.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so anything else for the day, or did that?
No, those are the highlights for today.
Well, good. It was very nice. Filming Coffee with Craig here again. Great breakfast. I think it's breakfast week this week in Warsaw. So I don't know if you knew about the official breakfast week.
I had breakfast today. So,
okay. Well, there you go. I guess it worked. And a lot going on. We had a great interview yesterday with Szymon Ostrowski from Newport Logistics Fund. So we'll stay tuned. We'll have that out this week as well, probably tomorrow or the next day. So also something to keep up with. They've got their second fund that they've launched and already built some properties, or already bought some land to start developing on in Austria and in France. So,
right, they had some sort of conference in Luxembourg or something.
Yeah, they did. They had a big conference there, and then really looking at Western Europe for hitting all the big. The big countries for next investments. But you'll when you watch the interview, you'll know what they're up to.
And what? So your kind of reflections on Expo Real?
A lot of people there, maybe less than last year, but not a shock. A lot of people,
moaning.
There was a few moaners there. Yeah, there was a few moaners there, but I think in general, people felt there wasn't the big deals everyone's used to, but there's a lot of little deals, sort of 40 million, 60 million, a lot in there, a lot of things announced.
I mean, just back here in the press office, we were picking up the news as it was coming in. It's quite a bit going on.
Yeah, so it's not zero, but if you're a big institutional investor looking for a pipeline of 500 million euro deals, pretty tough to find, I think. Yeah, but on the other side, I think you look at the stands, Warsaw stand, Łódź stand, all the Poland stands were doing very well. Of course, Prague and Ostrava, they were together, very, very busy, a lot of things always happening, a lot of conferences there.
But on the conference size, I mean, outlook, what was the kind of?
It depended on the sector. There was probably 40% was, hey, we're going to have a tough year in 2025. I don't know why they didn't think 2024 was, or 2024. Yeah, 2024 tough year, but some of them, depending on the sector. Again, if it was PRS or student housing,
going into Expo, I mean, the news, there's a lot of news that's produced before the event.
Yeah, sure.
And they're saying, it's this year obviously been a lot slower, and 2024, it's going to be a bit more positive in 2024, but I think that's kind of
they always
push back to 2025.
Yeah, exactly. But I think they always, but what you could see, there was noticeably, there wasn't the normal big Romania stand, big Bulgaria stand, which is always a bit concerning to me when they start cutting those things. So,
right. I mean, but again, there's an awful lot going on in Romania.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. There is a lot. So, I mean, there was some Romanian stands. There was Transylvania, Bratislava. There was some stands, but the kind of the big one that the German Chamber of Commerce sets up. I guess they weren't getting the amount of sponsorships from some of the big players that they normally get. So was it that I think things are going well, for at least hearing the news, but maybe they're worried it's gonna slow down or something. No idea. So,
and how was our magazine received?
Our magazine was very good. We distributed over 5,000 copies. So that was, I think people, if they're looking at Poland, Czech, Hungary, Romania, there just isn't another one, unless some of the German daily news. It's there's a lot of that. But in English, if they're looking at anywhere in Central Eastern Europe, Southeastern Europe, there just isn't another magazine to pick up. So even if they're looking at one country, ours has some relevant information, but I think a lot of the people at Expo Real are cross-border managers or cross-border directors or have responsibilities, so they can read through our magazine and get a feel for what's going on, and
Yeah, hopefully.
and who's doing it,
Yeah.
also who's involved. So no, really well. The guys, I had talked to the guys, I see them putting them out, and they're like, "Oh, your magazine is selling the best." I was like, "Okay, we're selling it." Okay.
Where's the money?
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So I'm like, well, if you're able to sell it, good job, But so that was well. Even the last day, there was quite a few. I stayed the Friday, which most people don't, but I stayed that day. There's quite a few of the directors there from Central Eastern Europe, and also a lot of course, the German bankers are there on the stand.
There's always something interesting going on the last day, though, isn't there?
Yeah. Always
Always
some interesting parts.
You must. It looked pretty tiring event. Quite exhausting.
As always,
Yeah.
very very tiring. But a lot going on the retail side too. Went to Coughlin stand. They were doing with Angelus. They were doing a lot of panels.
Right.
As they always do. It's like Coughlin Needle. They're coming in. Rossmann also very busy, and again Rossmann's looking to set up 150 stores this year, open new stores.
Just in Poland?
Just in Poland, just in Poland. So 150, that's signing like almost one a day if you're, taking out the weekends.
They've got a massive rollout plan.
Yeah. So normally it was 100, but they said, yeah, we're doing 150 this year. So
right. Wow.
Good. If you've got a plot that that a Rossmann could fit on and in good location, there's I'll give you the guy's name to call.
Okay.
So, but Expo Real I always feel Expo Real brings up the market because it's getting everyone together, and people are coming up with ideas.
Just a good sign that if retail's picking up a bit, then MAPIC will be interesting this year.
Yeah, MAPIC, and I know a lot of people from Expo by the end they were like, we want to come to the awards. They're like, something's happening. We've got to be part of either Hungary or here in Warsaw as usual. So very nice. Anyway, thank you for watching this week's Coffee with Craig show, and we will see you next week in Hungary on the 19th, or in Warsaw here on the 26th for the Investment Awards. And enjoy the rest of the day, and we will see you with the news tomorrow. Click here to subscribe to the Coffee with Craig show, and don't forget to share it with your friends.